Hello, my name is Holly Dalton, and I'm the Early Math and Early Literacy Assessment Specialist at the Oregon Department of Education. This is the Kindergarten Assessment Test Coordinator Training module for the 2019-20 school year. This module is required for all district and school test coordinators, and this is an annual training requirement. All school districts in Oregon are required to administer the kindergarten assessment. This includes public charter schools. District test coordinators are responsible for ensuring that any of the publicly sponsored charter schools that are associated with the district are administering all statewide required assessments. All students, including children with disabilities, are also required to participate. There are no domain exemptions allowed. District test coordinators will need to work with district staff to ensure that proper training in rules and procedures are carried out. New for the 2019-20 school year, all information, including test administration, training, and accessibility supports, will be contained in one manual. This manual will be called the Kindergarten Assessment Manual, or the CAM. All district test coordinators, school test coordinators, and test administrators are required to read the CAM as well as use and view the ODE provided modules for staff training. The purposes of the kindergarten assessment are twofold. One is to provide local and statewide information that gives families, schools, communities, and state level policymakers a snapshot of the social, self regulatory, and academic skills of incoming kindergartners, and to provide a consistent statewide tool for identifying systemic opportunity gaps, determining early learning resource allocation to best support students in need, and measure improvement over time. The kindergarten assessment looks at a set of specific skills and should not be used as a gatekeeper for students entering kindergarten. It should not be used as a sole means for placement in programs or classrooms. The assessment was not designed to measure what students learn in kindergarten and is aligned to the early learning and Common Core state standards. All district test coordinators and school test coordinators are required to do the following: review all kindergarten assessment training modules, review the 2019-20 Kindergarten Assessment Manual, or the CAM, order the kindergarten assessment materials through TIDE, review the assessor booklet, student booklet, and score sheets, attend one of the kindergarten assessment trainings, and train all testing administrators or TAs and kindergarten teachers on appropriate modules, where to enter and obtain student data, and distribute the kindergarten assessment materials to schools. All test administrators, including kindergarten teachers, are required to review the modules provided by ODE. All district test coordinators, school test coordinators, and test administrators need to review all of the 2019-20 materials, including all assessor and student materials. In addition, district test coordinators, school test coordinators, and test administrators, including kindergarten teachers, should review the Kindergarten Assessment Manual. New for 2019-20, the Kindergarten Assessment Manual, or the CAM, includes both information on kindergarten assessment, test administration, and accessibility supports. The kindergarten assessment timeline. The first training for the 2019-20 school year took place in May, and this order window was from May 23rd to June 18th, 2019. The first shipment of materials will be delivered between July 30th and August 2nd. The testing window opens August 6th and closes on October 17th. The data collection window opens on August 8th and closes on October 28th. The second round of training takes place August 14th, 2019, and the second delivery window is between August 20th and the 23rd. There is only one consolidated collection training this year, and that will take place on September 5th. And then the audit review window is between November 18th and the 26th. All kindergarten assessment materials will to be ordered in Tide. Only district level users and district test coordinators can order these materials. Here is an example of where you will order the materials. New for 2019-20, the district test coordinator will need to verify the district address where the materials will be sent. Please enter an official district or school address. No P.O. boxes or home addresses will be accepted. District test coordinators, please also enter your contact information and phone number in case we need to contact you over the summer. School level test windows are set according to individual district start dates. School level test windows must begin no later than the first day of the district school year and must last for at least 6 calendar weeks. Districts may exempt any student enrolling in kindergarten in the last 3 weeks of the school-imposed test window from participating in the kindergarten assessment. The direct measures, early literacy and early math, must be administered within the first 3 weeks of the testing window. The approaches to learning measure must be administered during the last 3 weeks of the testing window to ensure that the student has become familiar with classroom routines. The skills assessed on the 2019-20 kindergarten assessment will include English uppercase and lowercase letter name recognition. The students will have opportunity to identify all 26 uppercase and lowercase letters. It will also include English letter sound recognition, where students have the opportunity to identify all 26 letter sounds and letter pairs, where one uppercase and one lowercase are next to each other, for example, an uppercase B and a lowercase b. Students will also be presented with 16 math items, some of which were revised for the 2019-20 test administration. The approaches to learning measure is administered only by the classroom teacher and looks at the interpersonal and self-regulatory skills of our incoming kindergartners. The 2019-20 test materials are an operational assessor booklet, which is green, an operational student booklet, which is yellow, the operational score sheet, which is used with early literacy and early math, and then the operational approaches to learning score sheet, which is used with the approaches to learning. Accessibility supports provide equitable access to all students. They do not compromise the learning expectations, construct, grade level standard, and/or measured outcome of the assessment, and only approved supports found in the kindergarten assessment manual are allowed during the assessment. If you can't find it in the kindergarten assessment material or CAM, it is not allowable. The purpose of the accessibility supports are found in the kindergarten assessment manual, and they guide the selection of universal tools, designated supports, and accommodations. They're intended to reduce or eliminate the effects of a student's learning challenges, and they're used by general education teachers, teachers of English learners, special education teachers, test administrators, and district level assessment staff. All students are required to take part in the Oregon Kindergarten Assessment, including students on IEPs or 504 plans. These students are not exempt from participating in the kindergarten assessment. There is a 5-step process in the CAM which describes the decision-making for selecting and administering accessibility supports. Step 1, you're going to expect participation in statewide assessment for all students. ESEA and IDEA mandate that all students are expected to participate in statewide assessments with appropriate supports for the grade level in which they are enrolled. This is true for all students, including those with the most significant cognitive disabilities. Step 2 is to learn about the accessibility supports. Both general and special education teachers should be familiar with the approved accessibility supports to assure that they are appropriately selected and administered. Step 3 is to select the accessibility supports. When selecting these supports, a team might review the following: the effectiveness of the supports, issues to pertaining accessibility supports, students' perception of how well the supports work, perceptions of teachers, students, and specialists about how well the supports are working, Step 4 is to administer the accessibility supports. When administering these supports, it is important to ensure that test administration procedures were not compromised and test security and ethical testing practices are followed throughout the process. Step 5 is to evaluate and improve the use of accessibility supports. At the student level, the decision-making team should review the results of the statewide assessment to determine if the supports were effective for the individual student. And at the district and school level, it is important that the supports are reviewed to ensure test administration procedures are not compromised, standardization and test security are maintained, and ethical assessment practices are followed throughout the process. Any individual that will be delivering, observing, or handling student data for the kindergarten assessment will need to receive the proper training as well as sign the Kindergarten Assessment Assurance Form. This form can be found in the appendix of the Kindergarten Assessment Manual, or KAM. Here's what the Kindergarten Assessment Assurance Form looks like, and this form must be used by people who are entering kindergarten assessment data as well as anyone who's handling or delivering the kindergarten assessment materials. The kindergarten assessment is non-secure. This means that teachers may use the data to inform instruction. However, the assessment must be consistently administered, and any materials containing student information and/or responses must be treated as secure materials. So examples of secure materials include a completed operational score sheet, completed approaches to learning score sheet, any materials containing student name or information or student responses. The assessment environment and requirements include supervision by a trained test administrator and ensuring that only allowable universal tools are available and reading the directions verbatim. A testing impropriety are behaviors prohibited during test administration, and they must be reported to the DTC, and the DTC must submit an initial report within 24 hours of learning about the impropriety, and they're going to use the electronic form online. This is an example of the electronic form online. The result ID, you would enter NA because it does not apply to the kindergarten assessment. The Oregon Department of Education provides an informational parent brochure in both English and Spanish. This form is updated annually and should be distributed to parents. Please communicate and/or print and distribute this resource to schools that you are responsible for. The documents serve as a resource for communication, and they are found on the Kindergarten Assessment webpage. Your regional ESD partners offer a wealth of knowledge. Please contact them with issues with ordering and test administration. They're Amy Rockwell, Karen Brown-Smith, or Joe Doherty. And if you have any questions related to the assessment policy and procedure,